Hi, Brad. You doing all right in California, Brad?
Oh yeah, it's a whole new experience, but we're doing just fine. All right, in just a second, we'll get started. All right. How is everyone doing? Everybody hanging in there?
Trying.
Yeah,
Yep, doing good.
doing our best. I know we have several people that are on the call, but not in video, so feel free to join us via video if you want. We're streaming this for the first time, Facebook Live. I'm excited that I'm learning things from home. So come on and join us, and we'll share as much as we can. I mean, each one of these little Facebook or these little Zoom masterminds have been fantastic, and each one brings a little something different. So we're a small enough group today that I think we can go around the room and just share where we're at and what area of town we service. You want to start us off, Lee?
Sure, yeah. I'm in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. So that's Southeast Florida near West Palm, Jupiter Island, Palm Beach Island. We're pretty slow right now. I think we haven't hit like the peak they're saying in the next 2 weeks. People are pretty scared because there are a lot of people that are getting the virus and people that came in from New York. So everyone's laying pretty low. We are deemed essential business. So last week, we weren't allowed to meet anybody face to face. This week they changed that, so we're actually allowed, but most buyers are kind of laying low. You know, some of the investors are snooping around, but right now I think people are just kind of waiting to see. But we still have active listings, and we took a few rental listings this week, but it's definitely quiet.
Okay, great. Trish, you want to share where you're from?
Sure. I am from Boston, South Shore, Cape and the Islands, Massachusetts. Just accepted an offer today, so that's crazy, huh? Woohoo!
Awesome.
Things are going. They're still going. You know, everybody's in quarantine. We're doing things a little different, but it's working.
Great. Debbie?
Yep. Hi, I am Debbie Goodekins from the Chesapeake area of Virginia. I also have my North Carolina license. I know that Jerry's been on here a number of times. He's in my office. So I also service North Carolina, just over the border. In fact, I live pretty much right on the border. And so I go anywhere from Williamsburg all the way down to Elizabeth City, North Carolina. And I just ratified 2 contracts today.
Great. Awesome. Kristen?
I am from Cape Coral, Fort Myers area of Florida, Southwest Florida, neighbors to Lee on the other side of the state. We're doing pretty good. I am out showing properties, not as many as normal, but I am out showing properties. I wear my mask and gloves and disinfect everything. I have a buyer who just flew in from Australia, so we're going to take him out as soon as he's done from his self-quarantine, which will be the end of next week. I have had several closings. I have one tomorrow and one next week. So we're progressing, but it is definitely starting to slow down a little bit as far as upcoming business. But we're doing great, and I'm here to help anyone in the Fort Myers, Cape Coral area of Florida.
Awesome. Dan, quick intro with mute off.
So Dan Edwards here from Seattle, Washington, the kind of epicenter where it all started. So we've been kind of only on lockdown for the last week and a half, and so that'll continue through the end of May. At first, our governor declared that we were non-essential, which was kind of interesting. And then kind of lifted some of those requirements, allowing us to tour 2 people in a house at a time. And if we're getting a house ready for sale, they can do the things they need to do to get the house ready for sale. Last week we listed 1 property and got another one in contract. We're getting lighter showings, and in one particular home that we listed, we're kind of curious why we're getting very, very little showings on that. So just going back to the basics and letting everybody know that it's, you know, it may take a little bit longer. We were heading for a very hot market. So now it's just going to take a little bit longer. That's all.
Okay. Susan, where are you from? Off mute.
I am from the Eugene, Oregon market, and we've had a lot of buyers put things on hold because if they haven't already been laid off, they're worried about getting laid off, and sellers still listing their house, but of course there's so many precautions, and if it's an occupied house, setting up a hand washing station, and so yeah, it's not as fun as it was.
You got to make it fun. You got to make it fun. Ed, we know each other. You're not far down the road.
Yep, Hermosa Beach, California.
Great, Ed. You hanging in there?
Yeah, making it. Got listing coming up. Should go on the market Friday or Monday. See how that goes. No, we can't show houses. Can't do open houses. Can't do brokers opens. So that's pretty interesting. And my seller does not want a professional photographer to come through the house. So
Challenge.
I'm trying to instruct him with advice from the photographer on how to take the pictures and that.
Got to pivot, figure out a new way.
Yep.
Jose, what you got going down there in Miami?
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. I'm down in Miami. So for us, a lot of people have been on standby, especially with showings. Had a closing yesterday and have that got delayed for a couple of days, and had another one that was this week, and we extended it for a week. People are on standby to see what's going to happen. I do have a buyer that wants to see a property tomorrow. So the other agent agreed that they will have the courier take care of the house, show the house. So neither of the realtors will be there, but the courier checker will be showing. And my customer will wear a mask and gloves and all that. Good to see you. Thank you.
Good. And is it Rindy?
It's a beautiful weather in Miami.
Hi, it's Rindy.
Rindy.
So I'm from Sarasota, Florida market. And of course, this hit right at what we call our season for selling. So everything that I have under contract is closing, which is fantastic. I've had 5 closings in 2 weeks. It actually did close, so I'm really happy about that. But I had cancellations from everybody that was coming into our area from March, April, and now into May. So the pipeline going forward is going to be a little bit tough. We can still show property here with following CDC and NAR guidelines. No open houses or anything like that, but we can do physical showing. So I didn't have any showings for 2 weeks, and then this past weekend I actually had 3 showings on my listings. I tend to do more listings than I do buyer sides anyway, so still working. It's not really looking like it today, but still working, and it's just really slowed down, but it'll come back.
It'll all come back around.
Yep.
Kendra, quick introduction.
Hi, I'm Kendra. I am from Ann Arbor, Michigan, and we are non-essential here in Michigan, but I know we're all trying to work as hard as we can virtually. So I've got listings that I'm putting on the market this week, and I've got buyers, and we're just doing everything with virtual showings.
Doing your best. Good. Marty, quick intro, and we'll get into the meat of it.
Yeah, I'm Marty Fulford. I'm in Corvallis, Oregon, and still have some things under contract and listings coming up, but it's what everybody else is saying. It's just slow.
Yep. Beth? All right, Jessica, we'll go to you and come back to you, Beth, once you can unmute.
Hi, I'm here, Beth Kovakovich with Sotheby's Realty. Hi. I have 2 offers on my listing, and just went mutual, so things are good. Seattle area.
Seattle. Okay, great. And Jessica?
Hi, I'm Jessica Previty. I am a realtor with Weichert Realtors in South Jersey, right outside of Philly, about 20 minutes. And this is also our spring market, and we were all revved up, as like many people have already said. So for me personally, I have put contracts together in a vacant home. I also listed an expired listing that is a vacant property as well. I've had closings, which have been different. You know, everybody's sitting in cars waiting to be called in to the settlement office. So I'm here to help if anybody is looking for somebody outside of the Philly area and need to relocate to South Jersey.
All right, great. Thanks, Jessica. So, you know, it's great people jumping on last minute. We went live today, so that helped out a lot with people seeing the mastermind. I wanted to just get into a couple topics that have been coming up for us in BNI specifically, and then also open it up to, you know, sharing some best practices as to what we're doing in our groups. So most recently, people have been asking the most about visitors, right? How do we grow our chapter during this time? How do we invite visitors into the group? And it's kind of a mixed conversation, but at the same time, I'm finding that most people are really excited to invite visitors and also are having great success with them joining these Zoom calls. I'd like to ask a couple questions. Is anyone out there having great success inviting people to the Zoom calls? Number one, have we seen, well, I know you, Trish, you're all over it. You've had a whole new awakening and a new chapter, right?
You're going to die when you hear this, 20 strong. We have our first meeting. We're not even an official group yet. And we have our first meeting tomorrow now, 20 strong. Thank you. I can't thank you enough.
Awesome. That's great. What about existing chapters that have had success inviting new people in and checking out the Zoom meeting?
So Brad, I'm with the Haddonfield group in South Jersey, and we had our second Zoom meeting this morning, and there was one visitor that was brought in, and he seemed to have enjoyed the concept and the whole networking piece.
Awesome.
I
Anyone
have
else?
Power Connections in Sarasota. We've had 2 Zoom meetings, and we've had visitors both times. So we had 2 visitors this past week and 1 visitor the week before. One was a visitor that I had invited, and it actually, everybody's used to Zoom right now, so it's pretty easy to, if they're available to join in. I think everybody wants to see somebody else's face right now and talk to other people, so they've been pretty receptive about attending.
I think getting them into the meeting is probably one of the easiest things that we can do, because people are searching for connection. They're just looking for someone to talk to and some sort of regularity in what they do. And a lot of that's abruptly been stopped for them. So business owners and people who don't know what to do, it's an easy invite. My follow-up question to that is, what are we seeing in conversion? Is anyone converting new visitors into actual members? We're finding that's a challenge for our past 2 meetings. We've had 5, 6, 7 visitors total over 2 meetings, and having a really challenging time converting them into actual members. Anyone else? I mean, I know it's new, so if you don't have an answer, that's okay. But has anyone had success in converting members?
You know, I'm the visitor host, AKA closer for our chapter, and so it was actually neat that our chapter was able to break us out for that visitor host meeting. So we were able to break out and kind of go over stuff. And I think what I want to do now is kind of have the presentation kind of that, and also the requirement of, you know, you're welcome to come twice, but after that, you know, you pay to play. And I think, you know, with the environment, it's awesome for the opportunity, but it can be a challenge because then people are like, well, I got to save my money, you know, that kind of thing. So you just got to kind of work to the benefits of that.
Yeah, Dan, we extended our ability to come and visit all of our Zoom meetings until this clears up.
Oh, cool.
And I think chapter by chapter, it's different, right? But for the purpose of getting people into regularity and not having to spend any money, they can attend the Zoom meeting for the next 3 to 4 weeks, and then we'll invite them in for a breakfast. So we're doing our best just to keep people's attention and to keep coming back and not creating a big barrier to entry.
Just allow the giver's gain stuff to work itself out.
Yeah, and if at the end of the 4 weeks they're not it's not right for them, then I don't think we lost anything by them sitting in and listening to our presentations each week. You know, that was our own chapter decision though, chapter wide, not region wide.
We've had a couple of visitors, and what I'm finding is the 2 or 3 visitors that we've had are past BNI members, and they're jumping on the meetings unfortunately with no intention of really joining, but just to get their business out there. So it's a little frustrating because I'd really rather save that for serious people. But I appreciate that they're trying to get the business out there, and hopefully they'll use some people within the chapter after meeting us. But we're the only lunchtime chapter in our area, so we have a little bit unique market and target area for those that can't get up early for one reason or another. So the lunch chapter helps. Doesn't help us as much with trades, but it does help us more with the professionals and the businesses.
Interesting perspective on that. We do well with trades in the morning, and we also have quite a few attorneys, which has been a blessing for us, but it can be challenging to get some of the business people up in the morning. So I think this is a great opportunity and visitor-wise to get as many people in as we can and just continue attracting their attention as best we can into our chapters, right? So sending out the link, getting people just acknowledging that it's there and showing up to promote their business. There's no real big barrier to entry, and we're doing it as much as we can and getting as many visitors in as we can. On our last call, someone had a great idea, and we've been doing this ever since, is make sure that we're acknowledging the visitors before the meeting starts. So if the visitor host team can grab those people and know who's going to come onto the call and really acknowledge that they're in the room, it makes them feel more connected to the meeting itself instead of just waiting for their little tiny, 15-second slot or 30-second slot that they get when they actually have their specific ask. So that's been working really well for us, and then they have a little bit more connectivity to the chapter. And oftentimes, if you already have rapport with them, I think it's going very well to kind of introduce who they are and everything else up front by either the person that invited them or the visitor host team. And we talked about this last time. We cut out all chatter in the beginning of the meeting. So we just stopped the open networking because it got uncomfortable and people were talking over each other, and we just really ramped up and got into the meeting quickly, and we're paying attention to the visitors walking into the room, and then started promptly on time. And that's helped our cadence through the meeting and get through in an hour and 15 minutes. I see James Sharp just jumped on the call, and I know you've got a huge chapter down in Texas. How's that coming along over the last couple of weeks for you in terms of getting through your meetings?
Let's see here. First week was a real challenge. We have 62 people in our chapter, so you can appreciate never doing it before in the Zoom format. And we allowed everyone to have 60 seconds for the commercial that I have, which was way too long because nobody stopped at 60 seconds. They were all going minute 20, minute 30. I was like, oh my God. So it was a learning curve. So we went back to our 45-second thing, which we had been doing, but the reminder is still kind of key. We're 3 weeks into it. We've had 3 consecutive online platform meetings, and to remind people to do the I have portion along with their commercial. I'm still getting about 50% understanding it. After I explain it, I demonstrate it, I acknowledge it, I encourage it. I'm like, mother flip if I don't have that awkward.
James, can I make a suggestion?
Yeah, I'm all ears, Dan.
Have them do that first. So start with your I have, and then finish with what you're looking for.
Cool. I like that.
We cut out all of our I have almost entirely. So they get one opportunity to say one little tiny thing, and that's it. And all the rest of the I have or their specific ask goes in the chat box. So we just
Brad,
push it all over.
How many people do you have in your chapter, Brad?
We're 37 right now.
Okay.
Yeah. How about you, Dan? How many you have there?
You're muted, Dan.
23.
Yeah. I think it has to do with group size too. I mean, we did pretty dang good the second week because when I cut it back from the 60 second to 45, and I have a dinger. Now I was challenged too because if you notice, your online platform does not have a timer in it.
Yeah.
I'm like, so I was like, okay, I gotta have my dinger on the ready. And he knows now because he's like, I got several repeat offenders that are just gonna run it. So he's all on the ready and make sure he's unmuted, and he's got a nice loud dinger. So we kind of tweak some certain pieces of it. I'm getting it done in 90 minutes, but it's a push, bud. It's definitely a push.
We started muting everyone. So we just got rid of the dinger altogether, and at 45 seconds,
There you go.
they just get muted.
There
So they
you go.
learn real quick how to shorten up that commercial and make sure they get through
There
it.
you go. I love it. For sure. It's good stuff. But no, it's a process. You know, I think the challenge has been getting these visitors to understand kind of how we roll and how they know each other and stuff there. I think we personally took our visitor day off the online platform. I wasn't going to do a big visitor day this month. I just thought that was just too much given the light. I said we could still invite visitors, send out the link. It's cool, but let's not put that focus. Our energies are going to be in the fall when we get back to the regular biz. So
it's interesting. And before you came on the call, James, we're finding that visitors want a place to go. So it might not be a terrible thing to continue to invite and still push for the visitors that you want.
I got 8 people coming on Thursday's meeting.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
well, good.
I just don't want 800. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that would be tough. I mean, that would be a tough thing to manage. So, one thing that we're also doing in our chapter is next week at the end, we're getting our meetings done hour and 10, hour and 15 minutes for 35 people. We're asking everybody to stay a half an hour extra, and we're going to build out breakout rooms for the chapter. So we're actually going to just take it from our 35, 37 people and drop it down into like 5 to 7 people per little smaller meeting group. Because we're finding that people aren't being intentional about setting one-to-ones, not everyone in the chapter. I am. I mean, I'm doing 5 to 6 a week and just doing as much as I can in online networking with everybody. But I think it's really important for people to connect, and we're missing that, right? We can do these, but it still doesn't feel like you get that chance to pop in and say hi to Jose before the meeting or whatever the case may be. You know, I don't get that opportunity. So we're forcing it through other meetings. And we're just setting that up for the whole chapter now, so that everybody does a breakout after our actual meeting. Any other ideas that people have done with their BNI chapters right now that have been successful?
So Brad, one of the things our chapter did, we moved the meeting from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. And the first meeting, we have maybe 85% of the members, and the second meeting also. We have about 32 members. And what we do is we do the 45-second commercial also. But in that 45-second commercial, you have to also say whether you have a referral or testimonial. So you have to fit everything within the 45 seconds. Or 45 seconds to 60 seconds. Sorry.
I'd be scared to move my meeting to 8. I feel like they'd never come back again. We got them there at 6:30 now and start at 7, and switching out to having an 8 o'clock and then trying to get them back in person at 7 a.m. again, I'd be scared.
For me, I'm a morning person, so it didn't matter. But one of the couple of members had small kids and they needed to prepare them for like homeschooling, and they were the one that asked, could we move it for 8 o'clock? So.
As long as you're getting the attendance there. I mean, I think that's the number one, is if you got a high percentage of attendance, that's a really good thing.
I think we're doing something, Brad, that's kind of unique and innovative. I asked for members to give up solutions. What specifically can they, as an individual, offer to salute this, nationwide crisis? And so, for example, one of my gals, she has access to hand sanitizers, disinfectant wipes, disinfectant, and stuff like that. So I said, well, would you mind giving me permission? I'll present that to my Facebook group, my social media, and I'll be able to circle you back within that little chat, if you will. So I've had over a dozen referrals given to her in the last 7 days, just because she's offered her, hey, I got this product. You can't find it in the stores. You can't find it. It's like toilet paper's nowhere to be found. And just connect with her. I have another gentleman. He is my landscaper. He's offered to mow anybody's lawn who's maybe inbound, doesn't have a lawnmower. Maybe they're elderly. Maybe they're sick. He says, anywhere in DFW, I'll go and I'll mow their lawn for free if you have somebody in that situation. So these are unprecedented times, Brad, but I took that initiative and I put it on my social media. I pushed it out there to support my fellow BNI members. And we're also now, I'm working with a personal trainer because he's had to adapt his his platform. I said, give me some top tips and I'll promote you to my personal sphere. So I think these are times where I'm not talking about real estate. I'm not calling up, hey, list or buy. No, I'm just offering that little value added, and it's really been well received.
I think that's great. That's fantastic. Hey, I see Tony Baroni joined the call. Tony, how you doing, bud? I'm going to pick on you once you figure out how to unmute yourself.
I'm doing great.
Good, man.
Great. How about you?
Doing good, bud. Hey,
Good to see you guys.
You too. I saw that you did a cool reverse call day this week, and our team was talking about doing something that way to give back to the community. And what were you doing? Were you doing a local restaurant gift certificate?
We did an Amazon gift card for $300. We were planning on doing Disney. We're in Tampa Bay and Orlando, so we planned on doing Disney, and that wasn't going to work out so well. So we switched it last minute to Amazon a couple weeks ago.
I got to ask you, what was the turnout for that? Was it as good as you'd normally expect?
We had about 100, just like 98 actually. 98 people called in. The time before we had 138. So all in all, I was happy about it. I think, we're getting pulled in a million directions actually right now with everyone working from home and, all the different Zooms and just different things people can be doing. So I expected a little bit better of a turnout, but all in all, we're happy with that.
I'll take 100. That sounds great.
Yeah.
For those of you that don't know, Tony basically puts out on social media, email, kind of says that you're going to be doing this promotion and asks people to call in to your phone lines, and then you and your team answer the calls. Just check in on them, I assume, during this time, make sure everything's going okay, verify their information, and then put them in a drawing.
Yep. Yeah. Each time we do something different. So the time before we did Valentine's Day dinner for 2 at Fleming Steakhouse, up to $250. And we had 138 people call for that one. And I found what I've learned through this on a couple of them is some people don't want to call for their self, but they'll call for their spouse or someone else that they know. So I heard that time and time again on Valentine's Day was, I wanted to win dinner for my spouse, and we went ahead and made a reservation for them to be able to get it, because it's hard to get a reservation in Tampa for Valentine's Day. So that's what we did that time. This last time, we asked for a referral that time. And then the new one, the last one we did it, we actually asked for them to download our app for Keller Williams, is how I handled that. So, and we had every single person but 2 download our app, so we got 96 people to download it. So that was good. And we gave them 5 extra chances to win for doing that. That's how we did it.
Awesome. So, and just so no real change or shift in what you were doing, other than you couldn't give away something that was in person at a theme park that's currently closed. You had to do something that was a bit different.
Most of the prizes we came up with as a team were all, essentially we're all experiences for the most part. So, the Amazon gift card we've done in the past, and that's always popular. So I think that's an easy one to always do. If you don't know what to do, that's a good plan. I saw a couple people ask, "Oh, thanks, Trish. Appreciate it. I stole it from someone else, so I can't take credit." Good R&D. Dan, a lot of the same people called. And here's a cool story with that. I got one of the people think of me. I coach baseball and football, so for my son, which is 8 years old. So, a lot of people may think of me as Coach Tony, and they don't necessarily think of me as Real Estate Tony, which is actually cool. But I kind of target people I don't know very well, that aren't past clients, to get them in my database or data bank. And then ultimately, I just got a referral. We got a $550,000 listing based on this giveaway, because we weren't really connected. I knew him, he knows me, but he referred me to his neighbor, and I sold the house across the street, and I know him from baseball, and the giveaway he's been calling in. So I think it helps with referrals as well.
Let me ask you this, Tony, how do you target people that are outside that bubble that you typically target?
I literally text them. I just say, you know, hey, I'll come up with a text that has a lot of emojis and gets people's attention. And I'll just say, you know, hey, I'd love for one of the baseball families to win this. Our real estate team's doing a drawing today for a $300 Amazon gift card. And we'll have whatever language I want in there. And then we always create a flyer of what the promotion item is. So this one had like Amazon. If you go to Tony Baroni team on Facebook and like it, I don't know if you have to like it to see it, but if you go in there, you can see the examples we have. And it's the visual of Amazon $300 gift card. So pretty simple.
Very good.
But I text everyone, Brad, to be honest, and I don't have any fancy texting technology yet, but I'm probably going to invest in some where all of us are just texting. And pretty much what happens is they call immediately. If they're going to call, they call immediately right when I text them. And then I have 4 people on our team answering the phones. And we may need 5 next time. And I try to do it on Fridays because people are a little more apt to call, I think, on Fridays than another day.
Perfect. Well, I got my takeaway for the day. I'm good. We were already looking into doing something along those lines and pushing something out to the community for this next week. We've done some coffee Zoom calls and things like that for our clients and our VIPs, but you know, not a ton of traction. It's decent, it's good content, but at the end of the day, I'd love for them to be picking up the phone and calling, so we can make those connections with them.
Well, another idea would be to get a BNI vendor that you do a lot of business with. They could front the prize. I haven't done that yet because I didn't know how successful it would be, but I think that's a pretty good way to promote another business and have them cover the cost of the $300 or whatever it is. And in my mind, it's really $300 or above, I think, would get people to call. But some people argue that and think it needs to be higher, but I think 300's worked for us.
Awesome.
What other idea for you, Tony?
Yeah.
So you're asking just name, address, phone number, buyer, seller, or just to register?
Yeah. So we're doing name, address, best email, best phone number, and then we're saying at the end, we hope you're the winner or something like that, and it tends to get people excited. So yeah, that's the way we're doing that, Dan. And then we have, in unison of that, we ask for, hey, is there anyone that you know that we can help with real estate needs right now? And we just stop and pause and wait. Obviously, with everything going on right now, we decided not to do that this time. We promoted our real estate app. And another thing I did that I think is working well for us, I created my own URL. And so ours is like tbthomefinder.com is what our app is. So instead of texting like a weird code or trying to say the code to people, we just say go to tbthomefinder.com and download the app. And then once you do that, we'll give you 5 extra chances to win or for the drawing for the Amazon gift card.
That's great. You know, one thing I'll share that we think we're going to have success with this week is has anyone seen the Front Porch Project? Either on Instagram, check out the hashtag Front Porch Project 2020 or Front Porch Project. So one of the things that photographers have done in order to stimulate their business but also give back is they're starting to do drive-by photography at people's homes and driving neighborhoods, and you can set up a window of 10 or 15 minutes where they have you with your family come out front, take a quick snapshot, and then the photographer can actually repost that shot into her database and also online and Instagram and everything else. And she charges like $20. She says, Venmo me, here's $20. I'll drive by, I'll do this. It's really to keep her visibility out there, but also now she has this really cool span of time of all these different people that have elected to do this. And we thought about, we're actually in the works, I have a call right after this, to discuss hiring her for 2 days and just saying, here it is, sign up, here's the slots, here's how you, book your time to be able to go through this process. bring your family out for this 15-minute window and we'll send you photos. So just a kind of a cool way to memorialize what's going on in our world, but also get those Easter photos, because you can't do the Easter egg hunt or anything else. It's just a way to get in front of people so that you know, you're giving them a service and also helping somebody in the community that's probably down on work right now.
I love it.
So.
Well, I have another one, Brad, we're going to do next week for our BNI chapter. Have you heard of the virtual happy hour with a live bartender on Zoom?
With live bartender on Zoom?
Oh, yeah, baby. So
are you the bartender?
The live bartender. There's a gal. I went through this last week, and it was with one of my lenders, and he's down in Houston, and she's a BNI member in the Houston chapter. She is live for an hour. She will go through a couple drinks. She's a very engaged, very exuberant type of persona. Because all our live events have been shuttered, she's gone to a virtual bartending, and it's fabulous. So we're going to do it for April 15th for tax day. Normally we would have all this craziness going on with the tax preparation, but since IRS was grateful to say, yeah, pay us in 90 days, we're going to throw a big party instead. And so we're going to invite it to our BNI chapter members to get on the Zoom call. We're going to send out an invitation. I'll send this to you guys if you guys want. Brad, you can post it and stuff. But she is a fantastic lady, and we're just trying to support, you know, fellow BNI members through it. She's going to send out an ingredient list before. So everyone, if you have some of these ingredients, like, hey, a couple limes, get a couple mixing glasses, whatever. If you have a jugger, you know, you have a cocktail shaker, whatever. But she'll tell us all the stuff, and then we'll have some themed drinks just for our BNI group for next week.
That everyone goes and makes themselves, which
exactly.
That's
because
awesome.
When I did it, I don't know about you guys, but I'm like, I don't want to see somebody enjoy a drink without me have one. You know what I'm saying? So now it's up to you. If you don't want to do it and stuff, you can still engage, but it's kind of fun because when I saw it, I was like, this gal is really something else. So she's a BNI member. She's really great. And I was just like, that's brilliant.
Send us the details. I think that's,
yeah, I will.
That's fun. It's a fun way to engage. We, you know, one thing that we dropped off on is events, and we do 4 events a year, and I'm struggling to figure out how to still enable what we're going to do, right? So like our next planned one, we were going to do the Top Gun 2 premiere.
Yes.
And I was going to dress up as Maverick and do the, you know, I was going to have Goose with me and the whole bit. And I'm struggling in how to figure out how to either change it or still continue with it, and theme something so that people can engage.
What about doing charades? And then the first person has to write it in the chat, but what the answer is, that way you know who is first if everybody's yelling out answers. But that could be a fun get together for some people doing charades, because it's visual over the Zoom meeting.
Great way. Yeah, absolutely.
Just a thought.
I would have them do videos, and I would put it all together. Say, hey, you have up to 2 minutes. Do your best Top Gun reenactment, whatever scene it is from the first one, and then we'll put together a big reel. And then you guys do the bloopers part, because you can have fun with that, saying, oh my gosh, I dressed up as Maverick, but the head doesn't, or the helmet doesn't fit or something. You know, just be you, Brad. You guys are awesome. But I think right there in San Diego, I would take advantage of your on-site doing stuff that others wouldn't probably think to do right now. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And just bring it. And I would say this gal can do a virtual Maverick drink for y'all.
There you go. Marty, you were raising your hand. Do you have something?
Well, it was interesting. Last Friday night, our chapter got together and we did game night with Kahoot. And, you know, we had multiple games. It's using an app, so you know who gets it right. And it was by points. And, you know, it was really nice because we kept it kind of family friendly. So if people had children, you know, that worked out well. But it was nice to, one of the games was set at our chapter's history, and then, you know, we went through there. But it was just a really nice bonding experience for the chapter and keeping people together thinking about each other, which seems to be important to us.
I love that. Great engagement for the chapter and can translate into our clients too, right? And our network. Very good. What else are we doing to keep our people engaged?
I have a good networking thing for the group. I don't know if your area does, Brad, but you know the paint and sip places that where you can actually go in. The one, our local one is actually doing it where you can pick it up, and then they're doing a Zoom one. So everyone in the group could pick up their own paint and supplies, and then you could go to the Zoom paint and sip, and everyone would be home, and everyone's painting, and you can see each other doing it. So it's fun as well.
Love it.
I got another one. So based on necessity, we have a weekly radio show that we've been doing. We go into the studio and it's live on the radio, and then we get collateral as a result. And we've always welcomed in 2 small businesses to come in and talk about their business, and we interview them. Well, in the current environment, we're actually doing the Zoom call. And Brad, you now know this, doing Zoom and then pushing it live is an added feature for exposure. So now what we're doing is same thing. We're doing Zoom calls, so now it's live Facebook. And actually, I just scheduled today to have a yoga studio come on. Their business shut down mid-March, and she's had to lay off all of her trainers and employee everything. And one of the yoga instructors is a friend of mine, so we're going to feature them talking about their business, and that goes live on Facebook. And then we're going to use that as future referral partner. Who do you know? And those all become potential members of our BNI chapter. So it's kind of a win-win.
That's great. Now, are you interviewing them, or are you actually having them go live and do a yoga session?
So we're just doing the interview. And so essentially they send us 10 questions, what we want, me and my partner in real estate. We ask them the questions. They answer the questions. So whatever topic they want to talk about in their business. And a cool story is one of our guys is commercial furniture, right? So these big companies that are putting, 100 employees in a place in furniture. And so he came on last week, and we were talking. While we were talking, I don't know if you guys can hear my chair is like squeaky here and funky. And I was like, God, this chair sucks. He's like, hey, I got one for you. And then this next week, he put together a whole package for work from home for a desk that stands up and sits and delivered to your home locally. So that was like just an aha. Is we have a tremendous voice as real estate agents in our community to bring these small businesses out and put them front and center. That's what we do in BNI, right? So let's leverage big time.
That's awesome. I love the stay-at-home package. We've been seeing some of those come across. Some better put together than others, and I love that concept, especially from a business perspective of somebody who can actually deliver that package. That's great. What messaging are you using right now with your BNI members and other people? What conversations are we having? I know I'm calling people like crazy and just checking in, turning into real estate conversations, but how are you messaging what the future holds and what we're doing right now? You're just all silent. That's it.
Well, I would say for our area, I'll just remind them that we are essential and that I'm still working and I'm still listing, I'm still working with buyers, and the safety protocols that I'm doing as far as the listings, just to put their mind at ease and just staying positive.
Yeah, that's what we're doing. We're really just trying to reach out to all our past clients, and either by calling them, writing personal notes, and just trying to be really positive and not negative. A lot of people are really negative, but we're just trying to, again, be focused, telling them we're still doing business. We're there to help with whatever they need. But the main thing is just to kind of be uplifting, because so many people are stressed and have it a lot worse than us. So we're just trying to be positive.
Tony, go ahead.
We're doing just the check-in calls. How are you? And that's been really impactful for our team. And then also we just did a newsletter and sent it out. Figured people have time to actually sit down and read it. And I've been getting positive feedback from clients that they're actually reading it, which is great because we spend a lot of time creating the articles and make it all organic. And by the way, we do our giveaways on the front page of that too. So people will, look at that placement each time. hopefully over time, that more and more people will call in for our giveaways.
That's great. You know, one thing that we're doing, I'll chime in, is the first week I called, I felt myself getting really caught up in, I don't want to say sorrow, but like the emotions of what everyone was going through and what I was dealing with and everything else. And then week 2, I moved quicker away from the emotional aspect and faster into the positive. And then week 3, where we are now, it's a quick check-in. It's hope everything's doing well. You know, what can we help you with? And move quickly through the negative and straight into the positive. And it's almost like stages of grief, right? We're almost going through these different stages of what's changed, what the reaction is. And then the quicker I can move to the positive, the better off the call is going to be. And the better off we're going to have a positive outcome. The last one I did last night turned into a referral. So just having that conversation, oh, Dad's 82 and he needs to move down here. We're not letting him go to the grocery store up in LA. It's time for him to move closer. What's available? So that kind of moved quickly. Melissa?
I did something locally here for my United Way. I sent out in my state, I'm assuming it's in every state, I'm in Washington State, we're doing the census right now. So I got a mailer from our United Way. I got 250 mailers and I sent it out. Now that you're home in quarantine, take the time to fill out the census, because when we do get back to doing business in 10 years from now, all this census information we need to fund our government here locally, and send it out to my clients as a touch for them to just do it. It's another way to touch them, not talking about the COVID-19.
Finding any other way than to talk about the negative. I think that's great.
We also sent out, Brad, a homeschooling tips strategy sheet, 10 resources. Yeah, which my office manager homeschooled her son, so she had all that at a fingertips. I said, hey, let's make sure this is available. That turned out really well, and we've had also a lot of people that are in real estate in other parts of the country asked to share that too. I think that's the key, is, you know, that's why we're on this call, is, hey, what's best practices, tips, strategies. We also took together the $2.2 million, trillion dollar CARE Act, and we kind of broke it down, some really good key ingredients. And then I said, hey, here I have a good financial planner, good CPA, good bookkeeper that explains all this stuff. One of the banks is we have a banker that is set up to do all the SBA loans, the payment protection plan stuff. So set her up to be a resource. Just being that connector. I think those are the conversations we're having, is just being that voice of reason. And on certain times, also, I've been pushing a ton of content. I mix it up with just real estate data, because so many people are freaking out that their house has gone down 30%. Their stocks have gone down 30% or whatever. I said, your house value didn't go down 30%. It didn't go down 10%, shoot. But, we're putting out MLS data about every other day. I try to mix it up where I put down there, like we sold almost 14,000 homes last month. People think everything's shut down. I'm like, absolutely not. And to have that bit of good news, that ray of hope, when it seems like hopelessness is taking over a lot of folks, they really appreciate that, Brad. That's something I think we all have access to, and we all forget. We have access to all the MLS data in all of you guys' markets. If you're all real estate agents, I'm assuming so, then you should be putting out some sort of sales data. I just put out, hey, we sold 250 homes last Friday. That's a good number. And it's just something that I've had agents share that stuff all over my marketplace and within my,
We talk about that as the market of the moment too, where most people are out looking at data that's 1, 2, 3 months old, and you can't really account for what the data is today in those reviews. So we're actually looking at daily data as opposed to monthly or quarterly, to show what's happening right now. How many homes are active on the market? How many homes are newly listed? How many went pending, and how many sold? So that
showings you had yesterday. We had over 4,000 showings yesterday. Everyone thinks that there's nobody selling anything, nobody's out showing and stuff, but they're doing it safely. We're managing people's needs there, being super conscious. But is it off from where it was last, April 2019? Sure, but it's still something that I think what we got to be is that voice of reason, just showing up that, hey, we're the professional, we're leading the charge here, we're going to get through this. And the communication I have is, these positive messages that just consistently, it's like, we will get through this. This will pass. We will talk about this 10 years from now. You know what I'm saying? And give them that hope, because so many people are just feeling this sense of like, oh my gosh, especially when they added more time to our sentence. You know what I'm saying? Then they say, oh no, now we go to May 20th, or if we go to June 10th, or whatever date they arbitrarily decide. It's just like, we got to have some sort of end date in this play. And I think us to be the real estate professional, being that voice that says, yeah, it will end and we'll get there.
Absolutely. That's good. Another piece of content I can't take credit for that recently came across my desk was somebody sent out 10 different virtual walkthroughs of national and international museums. And they did it in such a way that it was just a one-click in. And I thought it was really cool. Just having something to contact people that's not COVID-19. You know, something that you can send out that people can engage with that, you know, is just helpful. So sorry, I just, as you were talking through that, I had that thought. So I can share that with anyone who'd like it. What else? What are we doing? We've got about 5 minutes left today. What are you doing right now? What can we share with others that that we can get out and implement that are best practices in our current market?
I'll mention something. You know, we have our listing presentation recorded, so that's really came in handy during this time where essentially, you know, we're doing virtual appointments, but then we're able to send over the presentation and then basically have them watch it on around their own schedule, and then set up a Zoom where we can show comps and also have them walk through with FaceTime. So we just ask really every client what they're comfortable with, how they want to operate, like what's their thoughts, and each one's been a little bit different. So I did a listing appointment where they didn't want to do Zoom at all. They just wanted to talk through the comps. So we did that for them, and then I emailed them to them after the fact. And someone else wants to have us go out and then practice social distancing, which was really last week. So I don't think people are doing that probably as much this week. But anyway, each agent on our team, we have a red, yellow, green on what their comfort level is. And then almost every client, we're asking the red, yellow, green too. So red would be, I'm not going to be around anyone no matter what. Yellow would be, it depends on the circumstance. And then green would be, I'm going on any appointment I can. So, you know, I think it varies for each person, each agent, and then also it varies for each client. So you just need to ask lots of questions to find out what comfort levels are. The one I just listed that I had mentioned earlier, it's not even on their radar. They could care less. They're in their late 20s. I mean, you know, they made me come out to the house and do a walkthrough after everything. So what do you do besides, you know, do the 6 feet rule? And if not, they're going to go another direction. So you've got to just decide what you're comfortable with, and then have the clients feel comfortable as much as possible. So I thought I'd mention that.
What level of restriction are you in right now from your state?
Yeah, Rhonda, we are, as far as terminology, we are considered essential here, but ultimately we do have stay-at-home orders as of, I think, yesterday or the day before per the county. So
we're operating under the same thing, Tony.
What's that?
So we're operating under the same thing, Tony, where we have stay-at-home orders. You know, we have our state Association of Realtors saying one thing, stay-at-home orders are another layer, and then what's practical and what you can actually do as a third thing. And I think the red, yellow, green thing is really good, because I'm seeing the same thing on my team, where I've got one team member that's, nope, I'm done. You know, wake me up when this is all over. She'll make calls, she'll do anything that she can from home, but she's not going out into the field at all. And then I have others that are, you know, give me all the 20-year-olds, because they'll do anything, right? And we have those buyers that are out there too. So having level of, sorry, I got kids in the background. So having that level of understanding of buyers, sellers, and your teammates is really important.
Well, and virtually, we're doing everything virtual, Rhonda, for the most part, with a couple exceptions. Like if we've been working with the client for months, then some agents have said, well, I feel comfortable doing the social distancing and still showing. Virtual on listing, we're trying to do basically complete virtual everything. And then we're doing more FaceTime showings on the buy side.
As of last night, and then this morning in Colorado, they had a meeting with the Attorney General and our, our Colorado Association, and they specifically identified that first open houses are off the table, but they're indicating no in-person showings. They will allow a closing, but they specified, and we're trying to get this clarified, but they specified no, even if you're under contract, they're indicating no inspections. And I'm not sure about, I think maybe appraisals are okay, but I'm not, it's sort of tough to ask a person, unless you've already got a pre-inspection, or if that buyer is comfortable. But I just don't know what level the different states are at. We'll continue to go forward as best we can, but if you can't get into doing an inspection, if they haven't done a pre-inspection, that's pretty tough, I think.
I feel like all the states are going through this at one stage or another, right? And some started sooner than others, and some have been slightly more restrictive than others. But the conversation that you're having right now is what we had in California about 7 days ago, which was they got really restrictive and then they backed off. And they said, okay, we need to still operate, and here's the little details as to what you can and can't do, and here's best practices. But ultimately, figure out a way to practice social distancing and get it done, right?
There's 5 states, though. There's 5 states that
our
have
association,
no
I think we're going
restrictions.
to go back to the state and try and get them to reallocate some of the guidelines. But that was even so much as no final walkthrough even. But hopefully, I guess it's good to hear, Brad, that there's still some fluidity. If some of our associations are able to go back to the attorneys and try and get that restructured, it's just good to hear. So
Rhonda, if I could for a minute, I'm on the board of directors of my local board, and I'm very much in touch with the Massachusetts Association of Realtors as well. You need to stay connected with your local board, because what we're doing is we're just funneling it up to the Massachusetts Association of Realtors, which is working directly with NAR. So NAR is connecting with MAR, which is connecting with the local boards. Everything should be channeled to your directors. That's what we've been doing. We're in communication at least 3 times a week because there are so many changes. I can't stress that enough.
Yeah, and I think that's where we saw a lot of things in California change, is when California Association of Realtors got involved and helped ease up those limitations, because their initial announcement was so strict that we all just kind of went, what do we do, right? And then it eased up. Now, I will say some states that have been very rigid, and I think Michigan's one of them, where they're being very restrictive and saying you can't do anything, and they just haven't eased up at all. So it varies. You just got to keep watching, keep practicing safe showings and everything else. That's what we're doing, and it seems to be working okay.
There's hundreds of counties that have not one case. Hundreds of counties in the United States. There's still 5 states that don't have any of these restrictions. So, but it is unprecedented times, and you have to do real estate at a super hyper local level. So I think we're all having to pivot and adjust as we need to manage whatever our local is. But I think we be the voice of reason in these uncertain times is a key. And then have as best of a approach to something I'd love to share if I could, Brad. This was innovative, but my broker did a comedy hour, hired 3 comics who've been unemployed for the last month because they can't do any stand-up, and they Zoomed them in. And it was a fantastic way to take a break. We did it for like an hour and a half. Each one had like a 20, 25-minute shtick. And we were interfacing with them in real time with comic relief. And there's just something cool about that. You know what I'm saying? It's finding that innovation in this time of challenge and finding those little things. So hopefully some of these ideas helped you guys and stuff there, but I thought that was freaking brilliant.
Keep busy, keep in front of people. I love it. I love it. So I always ask before we go two things. Number one is, if you're not a part of our Facebook group yet, make sure you search on Facebook for the BNI Real Estate Referral Group. It won't do me much good to type in the chat box now as we're going to sign off here, but if you're not a part of it yet, make sure that you join, and you can see a lot more comments and things that are going on in the BNI realtor world. And then, does anyone out there have someone that's relocating to another area that they're looking for an agent right now? Do you have any outbound referrals that you're looking to place, or any connections that we can make either in this chat room right now, or I can help you get connected offline? Melissa, you gotta unmute though.
I did. I was trying to think of the name of the place. I was met with a seller. I did a listing presentation in a driveway last night. Different thing. Maple Valley, Washington.
I can help with that.
I can help with that too.
Okay.
So you got Beth and Dan on the call.
Okay.
So good timing, and I can help make the introduction for you as well.
I don't know how to pronounce that. I'll write that down.
Beth Vakovich.
Thank you.
Sotheby's Realty.
Okay.
And Dan Edwards, Keller Williams Realty.
Okay. Excellent. Thank you. I'll look you guys up.
Awesome.
Or you can look up Beth K Homes if you don't want to spell out Kovacevic, Kovacevich, but Beth K Homes.
Okay.
Might be easier.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Anybody else? Okay. Well, keep sending those outbound referrals in the BNI group. This was a great call today. A lot of great nuggets that I took away. I'll share these again in the notes below the Facebook Live. So if you have any questions for me at all, reach out. I'm in San Diego. I appreciate you all being on the call, and we'll look forward to the next one. All right. See you guys.
Thank you. Stay safe.
Yeah. See ya.
Thanks, Brad. Appreciate it.